I'm here with you at Beverly Hills, and I'm trying to tell you how do you actually make a ton of money. And one of the ways that you do so is actually to help wealthy people to make more money. When you think about it, what actually brings in a lot of revenue? I'm thinking of so many interesting things that actually make people rich, but it's usually because they're actually helping other people get rich. As an example, a YouTuber who gives you interesting financial insights. You might not know this, but actually financial videos are some of the top performing videos in terms of ad revenue on the whole entire YouTube service. And so it's because if you're talking about finance, you probably are going to get financial companies and crypto exchanges and all those kind of things. They're going to be advertising, and then they tend to actually pay the highest rates because people who are interested in finance are probably people who actually already have a lot of money, so they're willing to pay more for advertising. So that's one area where there's quite a bit of money. Another thing has to do with real estate. Like as an example, in the Beverly Hills area, which I'm walking towards, there's so many of these commercial properties that charge the absolute highest rent. Why are they able to charge the highest rent? Is because if you rent these properties, you have access to some of the wealthiest people on the planet. And so these kind of property, if you're helping other people get rich, like selling merchandise, services, by allowing them to sell in your property, you're getting quite a bit of money too. So if you think about it, if you cater to the wealthy, you actually have a tendency to make a lot more money. Yeah, you could be a Walmart, you could focus on volume, but if you actually are trying to actually make a lot of money and to do the least amount of work, and that's what I like to do. I like to think about how to work smart, not necessarily how to actually work harder. Because if you're focused on wealthier individuals in the marketplace, you actually work a lot less. So as I was pointing out, the way to make a ton of money is actually by catering to the wealthy. I'm standing in front of the world's most expensive store in the entire world. This store sells really expensive fashionable items for men. And the way they make money is just by having an extremely high price tag. They focus on making sure that people know how exclusive it is. Like they have a lot of photographs of presidents and kings and prime ministers. They all buy from this particular store. You can see they have all the names of all the customers right on the window. And the trick that this store has is that they're catering to really high price points. They're not trying to get on volume. They're trying to get people who are extremely exclusive, who are willing to pay the very high price point. Look at the car that's always parked in front of it. So the trick is that if you can have a high enough price point, it doesn't really matter about volume, because you can just focus on a very narrow market. And you can do extremely well for yourself. You don't have to be Walmart. Think about how massive Walmart has to be with paper-thin margins in order to make a lot of money. This particular store is able to do, I'm sure the margins are extremely high. I would say it's probably in the 50 to 60% range, but who knows? I'm not 100% sure. I know they rent this location too. It's not cheap. It's on Rodeo Drive. So of course that costs a lot of money, but by focusing on such a narrow price point, you really do so much better by focusing on the wealthy instead of just your average consumer. Just less work, and it's a lot more profitable, and it's actually kind of exciting to focus on people who are extremely successful too. If you're a real estate agent, focusing on this area is way better than focusing on a low-income area, even if you sell way more homes in a low-income area. And a lot of it has to do with the fact is that if the price point is high, you don't have to sell as many as you do in a low-income area. You might have to sell 10 to 20 times the number of homes as you do here to make the same amount of money if you're a real estate agent. So I know some people think it's unfair, but I hear it all the time. I even hear from relatives, they say, oh, well, that's not fair, or who can afford that? It doesn't matter. If you're focused on people who are extremely wealthy, you will actually do very well in the process, but also you will also be doing a lot less work. And I think a lot of it has to do with confidence, because I think some people, they think that they need so much more experience or time in order to be able to accomplish something, but then they cut themselves short. They think, oh, I'm not so sure I can relate to wealthier people. truth is, a lot of people who actually spend time with wealthy people to realize that they really are just like everybody else. They really have the same kind of needs, insecurities, and goals. They just are very successful at it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not afraid to take a risk. So many people are afraid to take risks in life, and it really sets them back quite a bit, because I think that it stops them from actually imagining what they're able to do. As an example of somebody who was able to make quite a bit of money by leveraging and connecting with the wealthy is a YouTuber who actually goes to this area in Beverly Hills, and he would ask people, "Oh, what do you do to make a lot of money?" And he made a whole channel about that. He just keeps asking people, "Oh, what do? You look successful," and apparently he's now doing relatively well. So the truth is, if you have connections with people who are relatively wealthy, the amazing thing is that it actually leverages itself, and it actually will benefit you in the end by really being able to become a lot wealthier yourself. So that's my advice for today. Smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.